Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another JaYo Reviews. Today, we're going to talk about Love is Blind UK version. And I have with me the lovely Anne, who's my sister. Hi, Anne.
Hi, everyone.
How are you, Anne?
Not too bad. Spent a couple hours yesterday catching up on LIB and finished it. So
Excellent. Um,
that's good.
First, I wanted to start with, you know, talking about what if you have to rank the LIBs, the Love is Blind franchise, because there are several. For those of you who don't know what Love is Blind is, it's a reality TV show where they have men and women who are separated. The men and the women are separated for the first 2 weeks. They're put into different, um, like places,
Pods.
and then in pods, in these rooms, basically with a wall between them, they talk to each other. So for 2 weeks, they don't see each other. They just talk to each other. First couple of days, they date everybody. All the men date all of the women, and all the women date all of the men. And then, um, after some time, they they get to choose who they want to date, and eventually, you have to propose. You propose for marriage, and after that you're sent to this like resort place where it's almost like a honeymoon for a couple days before you go to an apartment, um, back in the major city, and you see, I think you stay for a month and plan for your wedding,
Mhm.
and then at the altar get to decide if yay, you accept, I do, or I don't. And so there are several places where they've done this. Obviously, the US. The US, I think, was the first. Um, and
Yes.
there have been, like, I think 6 or 7 seasons so far. And then there's
Mhm.
been Love is Blind Japan, Love is Blind Brazil, Love is Blind Sweden, and now this new iteration of Love is Blind UK. Which one has
Indeed.
been your favorite, and for you?
I mean, I haven't watched any of the others besides US, but
Okay.
yeah, I'm liking UK because I feel it's very similar to the first season of the US.
Mm,
Love is Blind. I feel it's very pure in some ways, and surprisingly, there was very little drama. Maybe
yeah.
one or two that I can think of, um, dramatic episodes, but besides that, I felt for the most part everybody's in it for the right reasons. Nobody's in there to get famous. So I'm pleasantly surprised with the UK season one so far.
I love that. Yeah, I agree. I think this season, this first season of Love is Blind UK was really good, and I really enjoyed it. I Yeah, I think that they did a really good job. In fact, it made me want to apply to Love is Blind UK.
I
Like
know, I
I
mean,
would love, like they were so beautiful, both the men and women. I was like, I'm here for this. Sorry, my computer is going a little berserk, but it should be stabilizing soon. Okay.
okay. Good, good, good.
Let's get into it. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of it. There were, at the end, for a Love is Blind season, I forget how many people in total like go to these things? Like if they have like 20 women and men or 30 women and men
I
to
think I tried counting. It looked
go.
more like about 15 women and men. That's what, at one point I had to pause to kind of count everybody in the lounge, and it
Yeah.
looked like it was about 15 couples,
Okay.
pairs. Yeah.
And in the end, six couples came out of the pod that we followed. So a little side note:
Yes.
this show doesn't always show all of the couples that are paired up, which I never understand quite why. I think a lot of it has to do with like entertainment and TV, and they're like, oh, these couples aren't entertaining, or we don't think they're gonna like speak to the people, so they don't follow them. But they followed six couples, which is a pretty high number to be honest for
Indeed.
Love Is Blind.
Yeah.
It's a really good number. So the couples
Mm-hmm.
were Sabrina and Steven, Maria and Tom,
Yes.
Jasmine and Bobby, Demi and
Mm-hmm.
Ollie, fourth,
Mm-hmm.
Catherine and Freddie, and Nicole
Oh,
and
yes.
Benaya.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
let's talk about like our predictions once these couples were formed. You know, what were the predictions? Did you have any predictions when you were like, oh, they all proposed and they're going to the next phase? Who did you think was going to stay together?
Definitely Benaya and Nicole.
You thought were going to
Because
stay?
as we know, okay, spoiler alert, everyone, initially Nicole did not pick Benaya, and because he was not ready to propose, and she clearly needed that, the words of affirmation, and he couldn't quite give it to her, and kind of regretted it in the end. She chose someone else. That did not work out, but thank God they were able to meet up and he proposed, and the rest is history. So I feel they seem to be very solid. It is Nicole's second marriage. Well, potential second marriage, but I just hope they're really talking through every little, concern and
Hmm.
you know, before they decide if this is for them. But definitely that was my top couple. And who else was I? I would say initially Catherine and Freddie. I definitely saw them. They're both beautiful people. Freddie,
Yes.
my God.
I know, Freddie,
Like
if
she
you're watching
said,
this and you're single, like, calm down, Freddie. I will absolutely marry you. My gosh.
beautiful man.
Yes. Very
Catherine said it
pretty.
herself. He's sculpted by God. He's by Jesus, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So, but I do know they have some differences in their lifestyles. So, who's to know? Will it work out? We shall see. Ollie and Demi, of course, I love them together, but there's something about Ollie. I don't know what it is. I
Mm,
just don't know if he's being 100% genuine. So that's tough. It's tough to see.
yeah.
Because I think Demi is such a lovely girl and I can relate to her. I have insecurities, and you kind of, she said herself, she didn't fully love herself, so did she, because of that, did she deserve to find love? But through the show, we see her develop and start to love herself, and you know, it's beautiful to see. And so I hope their match made in heaven, but only time will tell. Yeah.
Absolutely.
What do you think about the others? Of course, I forgot to mention Stephen and
Sabrina.
Sabrina. I mean, come on. They were the first couple to get engaged. They are, I mean, their values, their interests, their lifestyles, just they're a match made in heaven. Period. So I'm
Right.
like, with them, I was like, it would take a lot for them to not make it. yes, there was a bit of an issue with. I know Sabrina was like, I don't really need to have a child. It's not a priority. And Stephen was like, oh, no, no, no. Like, I want, an offspring. And so that might have, you know, made it so that they weren't going to match up. But in the end, they kind of compromised and made it work. What
Yeah,
do you
for me,
think
out
of the
of the six
couples?
couples, I thought four of
Hmm.
them would get married. Yeah, like you said, Sabrina and
Hmm.
Steven are perfect for each other. I mean, it was like fairy tale.
Right.
Like, I, again, if Steven hadn't
Hmm.
found his person, I would have been like, hey, friend,
I'll let you girl.
feel free. Yeah, exactly. Because I loved, loved,
Such a
loved
nice
how,
man.
yeah, he went about it and like his conversations with Sabrina and everything. I loved his aura and his presence. Um,
Yes.
and so
Yes,
did I love
yes,
Sabrina.
yes.
And it's funny because I was thinking, are people from Belfast like it sounds almost like an American accent. Like there
It's
were
so
so many times where I
beautiful.
was
It's
like,
it's Irish
I
because
know, but it
actually
sounded so American in many ways. And it was just like,
I liked her. Hmm.
yeah, I really liked her too. I also thought Jasmine and Bobby would for sure make it. Like I was like, they're gonna get married. They're gonna say I do. Feels like a
Hmm.
match made. Bobby was just he's such a dream. Bobby is a dream. He's
He's a
gorgeous.
lovely
He
fellow.
seems like a great mix of like cool and also like not toxic. I just
Exactly.
yeah,
Right, right, right.
I really liked Bobby, and I love Jasmine and
Hmm.
Bobby's connection. I also thought Catherine and Freddie would say I do, um, just because, of, yeah, the physical attraction between them and stuff. I thought like that would make it overcome everything. And Nicole and Benaya, yeah, I also was like, I don't have any doubts. I think they'll say I do. So for me, the
Right.
two couples that I were like, I don't think they're gonna make it were Maria and Tom, which in the pods, I thought they were
Mm.
great. Like I was like, oh man, this is gonna be so good. And then the other couple was Demi and Ollie. And then I think
Yeah.
because of like how things went about, it's funny for Maria and Tom, it was the opposite. Where in the pods, I was like, wow, they're doing so well. Like it's gonna be an
Hmm.
incredible thingy. And then after the trip, like the honeymoon trip that they go through, and they went back to their
Yes.
real lives and started talking about cultural values and things like that. Then I started to see
Yeah.
like, ooh, I don't think Tom is feeling this and is on the same page with Maria and her upbringing, her
Hmm.
Muslim upbringing and values, and the way that she
Right.
sees gender norms is very different
Hmm.
the way that he sees gender norms. I think, and we'll talk about the outcome at the end very soon. But yeah, I didn't think they would make it. And then with Demi and Ollie,
Right.
um, things were actually rocky between them during that trip, right before they go back to their real lives.
Yes.
And during that trip, especially with Ollie, some
Hmm.
people it felt like another Kwame Micah situation, where Kwame was like, this is Love is Blind
Mm-hmm.
US, um, Seattle,
Yeah.
and Kwame, this one black guy, he was into two girls, just like Ollie was. Ollie was into Catherine and Demi at the end. And
Right.
Kwame was into Chelsea and Micah. He chose Chelsea, and then during the honeymoon, he saw Micah, um, who is gorgeous, blonde girl, very giddy, and they were flirting and talking to each other. And there was a lot of doubts from everybody else that, like, oh, maybe he is more into Micah than he is into Chelsea. And it was kind of this situation here where, like, I think people, especially the ones close to Demi, like Jasmine, who came to bat for her, thought like, oh man, maybe Ollie is more into Catherine than
Right.
Demi, and she wanted to protect her. Um, and that was funny and weird that that situation was so similar, you know? Um,
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
in the end, it proved wrong, and like Ollie seemed to be really solid with Demi throughout after that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think they all proved us wrong. So when they started living with each other, and I was pleasantly surprised at how well they like gelled. Um,
Right.
yeah,
Indeed. There was just uncertainty.
yeah.
There was
And
just
another surprise
uncertainty.
for me was Nicole. Nicole choosing Sam made complete sense. So Nicole had two guys,
Right.
that she was like on the fence about. Sam was one and Benaya was the other. And though she felt, I think, a stronger connection with Benaya, when she asked him about commitment, he was hesitant and he wasn't sure if he was ready to commit and to be married. And that I think freaked her out. And so she chose Sam in the end, despite Benaya telling her some red flags about Sam. Sam, what I felt in this
Mm-hmm.
season was certain people were riddled by their insecurities.
100%. That was Sam.
Sam,
Mm-hmm.
Catherine, Demi, um, and a little bit Tom, I think were riddled by insecurities and fear.
Right.
And I think they let that get the better of them. Of course, everybody has insecurities and fears, but some, like I said, let it get the better of them. Like Catherine,
100%.
the way she treated Freddie, once they moved into this, apartment, um, that's given by Love is Blind. Uh, and we saw them interact with each other, with their friends, their family. Catherine did a few things, and I know that Reddit and other places have been like coming after her for it, that were not
Mm-hmm.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
Were not cool. A lot of people have been calling Catherine a red flag and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I, to a degree, I can understand. Like she's been adopted, and I think that
Yeah.
has played a big part in her insecurities. At the
Mm-hmm.
same time, I didn't fully understand why she was so gun ho on being with Freddie when, you know, their lifestyles were so different. And if it was just for the physical attraction of it all, like I think that
Right.
was the wrong move.
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah, because at the end of the day, I feel I mean, she flirted a little bit with Ollie. She flirted with Sam when they all reunited with the Pod Squad. So I feel in general, she's a big flirt, but it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, who are you going to mesh better with in your life,
Uh-huh.
I get it. He's, again, a gorgeous man, but looks fade, you know, what's
Exactly.
most important, you know. To be
And I
fair,
think
they do have a lot of similarities, though, in
who,
some
Freddie and Catherine?
ways. Yeah, the fact that, he has a brother who has Down syndrome and, he cares for him a lot, and then she teaches I believe it's kids with Down syndrome how to swim, and like I think they did share a lot of similarities, and their families, family and friends are very important, and
Mhm.
there were a few things that worked. I think it's the overall lifestyle.
Yeah.
He's more of a homebody, I take it,
Hmm.
low key, but she's more, let's go out, although she did say, like, it's once in a blue moon. It's not like she goes out every single day,
Yeah.
or every weekend, but he feels like she's downplaying that a little bit.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure. Um, and I think for me, it was just like Freddie was just solid. Like I loved his core values, and like I think he just knows himself better, and he's in a place where he really
Hmm.
like knows who he is and knows what he wants. Whereas Catherine, I think, still needs some healing. If she's not in in therapy, I think she should seek it because I think it'll help her to deal with
Yes, especially like yep,
some of the
yep, yep,
issues that
yep,
she's gotten due to being adopted and all of that jazz, you know.
yep, agreed on
It'll just make
that.
her a better person. Um, and same for, I think it was surprising that some couples didn't talk to each other a lot about certain things. Like Maria and Tom, I think the reason they didn't work out is that they didn't talk a lot about really important core values like gender norms, like financial responsibilities and things like that. I think it wasn't fair that
Hmm.
Tom, especially at the end of this journey, he said like, "Oh, she will want my son to pay for everything and my daughter to not do
Hmm.
anything and not to work." And I was like, "No, that's not what she said. That's not what she wanted." Like
Right.
she just said, especially at the beginning of a courtship, she's used to the man being the one to pay for everything because that's how she grew up in her culture.
Hmm.
And it's like
Right.
that's again a conversation to be had. If you don't want that,
Hmm.
then you'll be like, well, I want more of a 50-50 situation. And you work about it. Like, you negotiate. And it's just like 50-50 is a little bit much with my salary. Maybe we could do 60-40, right? Like, I feel like they didn't, yeah, really talk. And like a couple of Reddit users have said that Tom was trying to get the good guy edit. And that's why it seemed everything
I
was
could see that.
smooth sailing because he's a
Yeah.
PR person. And I was like,
Oh.
yeah, I can see that
Hmm.
too.
100%, especially with Tasha. I
Uh-huh.
remember he had that conversation with Tasha when they again all met with the pod squad,
Hmm.
and the way he talked again. I feel like, yes, Tasha did mention like she still has love for him and this
Hmm.
and that and the other, but I didn't feel like she was laying it on thick. And
Mm-mm.
I felt like he wanted to hear that. And the fact that after the fact he goes to Maria, oh, just so you know, like she basically said she still loves me and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, sir, you wanted her to say that and like you lived for that.
Hmm.
So again, just be honest and be like, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
She's exactly what I imagined. And again, we've built this lovely connection, but now, I mean, who knows? Maybe he wasn't feeling Tasha as much as he let on,
Yeah.
but I'm like, sir, you lived for everything she was saying. So, own up to it. And can we say, I have to say, Tom looked like Mr. Darcy. Like
Ah,
he's, from Pride and Prejudice. I was like, oh
yeah.
my God, he looks like a typical, bourgeois. Uh, you know, I could see him being a Mr. Darcy.
I
Like
can see that. He's gorgeous.
that's the vibe. That's
He
the
was,
vibe.
yes,
Yep.
handsome for sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
I do like that everybody was, for the most part, they were all in their 30s, which is nice to see because it's like, hey, I get it. We want to see people in their 20s finding love, but like give some love to us third people in our 30s
Mm-hmm.
who are still, you know, trying to find love. So I did
Thousand
live
percent.
for the more mature contestants. That was nice
Mm-hmm.
to see.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree. And I love
Yep,
the
yep, yep.
diversity of people that they had too. Like um
Mhm.
Maria has Moroccan descent. That I think that was really cool. And like there were a lot of
Mhm.
interracial babies
Right.
like
Ollie and
Bobby, Ollie and
Demi.
Demi, both their moms are white and their dads are black. Um,
Hmm.
and Bobby too, I think I forget what ethnicity.
Yes, you are
But
right. He might be mixed too because
I think so.
his mom showed up.
Yeah, I think his mom is white and his
But
dad is black.
hmm
Nicole is both
hmm
parents are black. Um,
yeah, exactly, Lebanese and Ghanaian. Because
mhm,
I looked it up and I'm like, oh, that's an interesting combination.
I
Very
love
nice.
it. Love, love, love
Hmm.
it. And with
Absolutely.
Nicole, Nicole was another one that got a little bit of like on Reddit, where people were like, "Oh, I don't you know, like how things
Mhm.
went with like Sam and then Benaya," and like some people were like, "She doesn't have any emotions," and I was like, "I don't think so. I think people
Hmm.
are just judging again another black woman like harshly
Based
and
on the
misunderstanding
internet.
her." Yeah, and it's like,
Hmm.
no, she just, and both of them said it later on, like both Nicole and Benaya said they're analytical people, and I think that's what happened. It's like Nicole is just very analytical, but she got emotional quite a few times. She got emotional in the pods.
Yes.
She cried because she wasn't sure what to do between Sam and Benaya. She got emotional when she met Benaya, after like she ended things with Sam. Like, and she tried to be the bigger woman with the whole Sam thing. Like she just didn't want to, and I really, really salute her for not wanting to like get into any mess, you know?
Mm.
She didn't want
Right.
to like talk badly about him. She was just like, listen, I had a
Hmm.
connection, it didn't work, move on, you know?
Right.
And I think Benaya
Exactly.
really wanted her to like be
Right.
angry and all of that?
Yeah, I agree. But his sister even was like, "You need to get over it."
Yeah,
And I was like, "She's right." Because it's like, I get it. Sometimes being angry at someone it doesn't necessarily feel better, but it's easier for some people. Like, I want to be angry at you rather than, forgive you.
yeah.
But it's like, at the end of the day, if that's going to affect you and going to affect how you feel about the partner that you chose, then
Mhm.
perhaps it's best to just, like, you know what? Does this person matter that much? No. Forget about him and move on.
Facts. Absolute facts. Yes. And so, yeah, I liked the way she like dealt with all of that, to be honest. I thought that was great. Um,
Hmm.
and then who else? Oh, Demi and Ollie. Yeah, like I said, I
Mm.
think their journey was really fun. And now we're gonna get into a little bit of like spoilers at the end and who ends up with whom.
Yes.
I
Together.
have to say, um, I was not surprised. I'll say I was not
Hmm.
surprised by Sabrina and Steven, by Jasmine and
Yes. The
Bobby,
first
and
couple.
by Nicole and
Hmm.
Benaya. I was like, they're all going to say I do. They're all going to say I do.
Solid indeed. Yep.
I was
Agreed.
surprised that Maria and Tom, I knew Tom was going to say no, and I'm sad that Maria had to go first and say yes.
I
Um,
know.
I thought that was really sad. I thought, I didn't like the fact that Tom like kind of led her and her family on. I think he should have
Mm.
told her, given her a heads up, like I'm gonna say no. And maybe they would have needed like more time together, to figure things out. But I didn't like that about Tom at all. Demi and
Right.
Ollie, I was surprised that Demi said no. I'm not gonna lie. I was very surprised. And then afterwards, she was
Yes.
calling. But I love that both of them were like, this is not the end of our journey. And I hope, 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 hope that during the reunion, we're going to see like they're still together. That's my hope.
Indeed.
And
But I
then
was gonna
Catherine,
say I would have preferred if Demi had gone first. I mean, Ollie. I would have
ah,
preferred him because I feel he was more so on the fence. The only reason she was on the fence, from my perspective, is she did mention during, the time they kind of moved out
yeah,
and had, I guess, a couple days before the wedding, like it seems Ollie, although, oh yeah, let's FaceTime. Apparently, he did not communicate with her at all. And that kind of made her like, wait, we went from communicating every damn day. You
mhm,
said you were going to keep in touch, yet you did not. So I think for her, it came because of that instance. But with him, he was still like, oh, I think I need more time, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. So I wonder, I would have wanted to see what he would have said first. But
That makes sense.
yeah.
No, I
Yep, yep.
totally can hear that. Yeah. I think that would have been good too.
Indeed.
And then the last couple, Catherine and Freddie. I was surprised by
Yes.
Freddie. I mean, I was proud of him for saying he needed more
Right.
time because there were lots of things that were not shown. Like Freddie had asked for a
Right.
prenup of Catherine,
Oh, yeah.
which I think was like fair, since he made more
Yeah.
money and he wanted to make sure his family was taken care of, especially his sister and autistic brother. Um, I and then, also the lifestyle things and like the way she would put him down sometimes, like when he's trying to be truthful or try to talk, like I think they needed more
Yeah.
time to make sure if they were really compatible. So I was really proud of him, to be honest.
Absolutely.
And I think he
Indeed.
conducted
Um,
himself very maturely.
Absolutely. So I think they made the right decision, and in the end, Freddie, I have to hand it to him because he went to talk to Catherine's parents.
Hmm.
He went to talk to Catherine, and he just, he still wants to keep the relationship going, but work out the issues they may have, or, suss her out a little bit, spend time and see, oh, are we actually compatible or not? So I commend him for doing that. So time will tell. I'm looking forward to the reunion,
Me
and
too.
you know and I kind of wanted to backpedal a little bit. It's funny, so I listened to a podcast with Dipti and Natalie from Love is Blind, actually, US, and they mentioned with the prenup, at the end of the day, every state has a prenup. If you really think about it, it could be 50-50. It could be the woman gets the majority, like whoever makes the least income, blah, blah, blah. Like, so no matter where you live, there's a default prenup. So I feel again, it's fair to, oh, if you don't make a prenup, then again, it's going to be default. So you might as well customize it to your benefit. So that's what he did. And, of course, people automatically take it as a negative, or, oh, you think I'm going to take your money and whatnot. But it's like, no, you're just trying to protect yourself at the end of the day. So, more power to you.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Great. Yeah. Who do you think are still going to be married by the reunion? Do you think all three couples will still be married? I personally
Let
think
me
it is.
think
Oh, and
about
something we
it.
didn't talk about, and just going to talk about it very fast because I sadly have to go very soon, was Jasmine's mother. The whole relationship, she's from the Philippines and she's very
Oh,
caring. And I did
she was a
not
tough
like
one.
I am very much into like chess and like, trying to like get the truth out of people, but I didn't like the way that she interacted with Bobby and that she tried to influence Jasmine into being like, nah, this is a terrible decision. Don't go with Bobby. I think I think that was again a person talking from their fears and insecurities rather than talking from a place of like real like maturity and like wisdom. And I thought that was, I'm glad Jasmine listened to her heart ultimately. But I
Yes,
just hope
same, same.
that her mother gets with the program and like gives Bobby some slack and some space because I did not like that
I hope
interaction
so
at all.
too. Yeah, I totally understand what you mean. I feel like I saw it coming. Jasmine did warn us
Hmm.
and warn Bobby.
Hmm.
But yeah, she came at him real hard and she was crying, and I was like, those are not tears of joy. Those are like, no, you actually said yes. What were you thinking? But I do hope, she has a change of heart as time goes by. So those couples, I'm praying to the Lord.
Yeah.
Benaya and Nicole, especially, this being her second marriage, like, I just don't see Benaya doing anything again. we barely know these people. We only
Right.
get a little snippet.
Right.
However, like from the little I saw, he just seems like such a sweet man and he loves her very much. And,
Hmm.
Bobby, same. He loves Jasmine so much and he already got a taste of like how sassy she can be. So he better, you know, stay on the straight and narrow.
Yes.
And I wish them all the best.
Me too. And I can't wait for the reunion. Please tell us below what your thoughts are about Love is Blind, the franchise, Love is Blind UK, the
Mhm.
couples, everything. And I cannot wait for the reunion. But we're gonna
Same
end this
here.
here for today. Thank you so much, y'all,
Excellent.
and hope to see you at the next JaYo reviews. Ciao.
Excellent. Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Bye bye.